active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the fairgrounds.
Welcome to Active Shooter, a podcast that covers the whys, the hows, and the aftermath of active shooter and mass casualty events.
They have an active shooter in the building. A second call says they are being attacked.
I've been shot. 1692 means we got shots fired. 4:15 a.m. Route 291. Sounded like an automatic firearm.
Thank you for listening.
Active shooter, reports of an active shooter,
mass casualty incidents.
You are listening to Active Shooter, a podcast that may contain adult themes, explicit language, and graphic depictions of violence. Portions of this show may be traumatic for those under 18. Listener discretion is advised.
We start tonight with the story that sent a chill through parents today. Parents who send their kids to school, trusting and hoping that they'll be safe. But in one of those schools, a high school in Ohio today, the worst happened. The police say a student opened fire on classmates, leaving one dead and 4 others wounded, 2 of them in critical condition. It happened at Chardon High School, 30 miles south of Cleveland. The alleged shooter is a teenage boy, said to be in custody tonight. We have late word from law enforcement sources that a day or 2 ago, he told his classmates something of his plans, but those classmates didn't take him seriously.
There's been a lot of debate about whether a person can die from a broken heart. Medical professionals have coined it broken heart syndrome, an event that happens in one's life that is so tragic and causes so much grief that it can kill the person who experiences it. Russell King Sr., the father of one of the victims that died in the shooting we will be covering today, died exactly 2 years after the death of his son. He died peacefully in his sleep, closing his eyes the night before and simply never waking up. Those that were close to Russell say that he was so affected by his son's death, he literally died of a broken heart. If you've listened to our prior episodes, you know that the Active Shooter podcast team has taken the no notoriety pledge, and we will not be sharing the real name of the shooters that we cover. We will be giving the shooters a pseudonym and refer to them by that name throughout the episode. This will help in clearing up any confusion in the story while remaining true to our pledge in not naming the shooter by their actual name. In today's episode, we will be referring to the shooter as Oliver. On February 27, 2012, Oliver rode the bus to Chardon High School at around 7 a.m., just like he did every weekday morning. He was going to the school where he would wait in the cafeteria for the bus to come and pick him up and take him to his school called Lake Academy, which was an alternative school for at-risk youth. There were also students that would wait in the cafeteria for another bus to pick them up and take them to Auburn Career Center to take additional vocational classes. Upon arriving at the school, Oliver went into the cafeteria to wait for the bus to come and pick him up. Surveillance cameras in the school show Oliver sitting at a table by himself, wearing a shirt that said, "Killer," in block letters across the front. It was about 7:30 in the morning. While Oliver was sitting at the table, he seemed to be paying special attention to a table nearby, watching the boys at the table telling jokes and sharing stories. Oliver is then seen standing up and going to a different table that was right next to one of the boys. Oliver is then seen standing up and going to a different table that was right next to the one the boys were sitting at. While sitting at the table, he has a calm demeanor and doesn't act panicked or upset. Seemingly out of nowhere, he reaches into his backpack, pulls out a 22mm handgun and a knife, and immediately starts shooting. First, he shoots Russell King Jr. in the head. Demetrius Hewlin and Daniel Parmenter quickly followed, as well as other students who may have been in the line of fire. The gunshots created utter panic in the cafeteria at Chardon High School.
You see glances of your friends laying all over the place. There's blood, there's people screaming, everybody's running in different directions, and you're just trying to get out.
While everyone was running for their lives, Nicholas Walzak was limping down the cafeteria, trying to escape from the chaos. Oliver saw Nick in the hallway and ran up to him, put the gun behind Nick's head, right at his neck, and pulled the trigger. After shooting Nick, Oliver flees the cafeteria, but not before shooting Joy Rickers, who was also running for her life.
I saw a kid holding a gun, pointing it towards a group of kids, and getting ready to press the trigger. I looked up, and he shot two more, and it hit a group. It hit a kid, and he fell, and another kid was hiding under the table for cover. I never looked at his face, I just looked at the gun. I still can't think about it all, because it's just so scary.
As Oliver was running, homeroom teacher and football coach Frank Hall saw the shooter in the hallway. Mr. Hall risked his life and chased the shooter out of the school. Oliver never fired a single shot at him.
I don't know why this happened. I only wish I could have done more. I'm not a hero. Just a football coach and a study hall teacher. I'm here to tell you that tomorrow our schools will be open.
Oliver would tell investigators later that he fired about 10 rounds and realized he needed to reload his gun, so he fled from the cafeteria. Math teacher Joe Ricci had heard the gunshots and ordered all of his students on lockdown. While he and his students were transitioning into lockdown mode, Mr. Ricci heard a moaning noise outside of his classroom door. Mr. Ricci put on a bulletproof vest that he had on hand for this exact situation, opened the door, and pulled Nick Walzak inside of the classroom. Once Nick was inside, Mr. Ricci could see that Nick was in critical condition and needed help quickly. He administered first aid to Nick until medics arrived.
I hate you for the pain you have caused, Nick. You chased him down the hall and fired the last bullet that paralyzed him. You're lucky I have to read this because I'd be staring at you the whole time. Why? Why did you do it? Why? Nick is a very kind and loving. Why would you want to hurt him? You don't know kind. You're evil. I will have to eventually forgive you. Otherwise, you will haunt me. You will never, ever be in my thoughts after this. Never. My family will move on, not you. You have ruined your life, not to mention Adam's. He even gave you a ride. Nick even gave you a ride from school. He was thinking about inviting you back to that table because he felt sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. I have watched my son suffer daily, every hour, every minute. But we will always remember that someone tried to kill 5 people, and all they did was want to go to school. So many people have been affected by your decision. Your family, all of our families. Nick is an amazing person. He is strong and he's a survivor and will continue on with his life. You won't. And to Tom and Sarah, the sperm donor and egg donor, I went to school with you both. Why pick drugs over your kids? Judge Fury, please don't ever let him on the streets. He is dangerous and has caused way too much pain. Thank you.
Hi, Chardon High School, we had shots fired, gunshots, multiple gunshots.
911, what's your emergency?
Hey, this is Principal Chardon again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, the alleged shooter ran out the back door down the easement towards the tennis courts past the pool.
Towards tennis courts. Okay.
All right.
Okay, do you have any description of clothing?
We have white t-shirt, shaggy dark hair, tall, skinny.
Shaggy dark hair. Okay.
We have a name that we think.
Is that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'll advise my unit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
About 10 minutes after the shooting, Oliver was found sitting on the side of the road with the gun and knife on the ground next to him. He was calm and unemotional when the officer put handcuffs on his wrist and placed him under arrest. Daniel Parmenter was pronounced dead on February 27, 2012, the same day as the shooting, at around noon.
It was a call, and it had Danny's picture on it on my cell phone. So I said, oh, he's calling me. It's okay. And I answered, and it was commotion, and there was some Kirtland fire chief or something, I don't know. And he said, Danny is being life-flighted to Metro Hospital right now. You have to go to Metro. I said, I want to talk to him. Let me talk to him.
Well, they're still doing CPR on him. He has tubes on his throat. He's bloodied. Oh, we were yelling at him. Fight.
Right.
Fight. He heard us. He tried. He did.
He tried. He did. He said, don't go, Danny, don't go.
Don't go, Danny. I love you. Stay, fight. But he fought. But he just didn't have no brain waves left.
Russell King Jr. was taken to Metro Health Medical Center and was pronounced brain dead. The next day, February 28th, at 12:42 a.m., he was pronounced dead. Also, on the following day, Demetrius Hewlin was pronounced dead, making the death count 3 precious teenagers who were taken from us far too soon. Chardon High School is located in Chardon, Ohio, which is in Geauga County. Chardon is a small town of only about 5,100 people and is located about 30 miles northeast of Cleveland. Chardon is only about 10 miles south of Lake Erie and is located in the snowbelt area of Ohio due to the lake effect snow that it receives from Lake Erie. The small town receives significant snowfall every winter. Chardon was named after Peter Chardon Brooks, who donated the land to build the historic area called Chardon Courthouse Square. On July 24th and 25th, 1868, a large fire destroyed the downtown Chardon Square area. The courthouse, post office, and many stores were destroyed. It didn't take long, though, for the Chardon Square to be rebuilt. Chardon is also known as the maple syrup capital of Ohio, and there is also a big celebration when the maple tree sap gets to the correct thawing temperature and residents can begin tapping for sap. This iconic day is referred to as Tapping Sunday. The 3 victims in this case, Daniel, Russell, and Demetrius, were all taken from this world far, far too soon. All 3 were teenagers who had a long life ahead of them to live, had their lives not been cut so quickly. Daniel Parmenter was born on September 9th, 1995, making him 16 years old at the time of his death. In Cleveland, Ohio, Daniel, or Danny as he was better known, had big dreams of becoming a computer technician, or perhaps a career in snowboarding. He absolutely loved going skiing and snowboarding with his friends. Teachers loved having Danny in their class, as he was always so respectful and quiet, not to mention focused on his schoolwork. He had an older brother and a younger sister whom he enjoyed spending time with. Danny enjoyed playing Xbox and computer games. He also enjoyed going to a local restaurant for wing night with his friends to eat chicken wings. Danny was simply just fun to be around, and it was easy to feed off of his energy.
You murdered my son, Danny. You are a killer. You're a pathetic excuse for a human being. In fact, you're not even a human being. You don't deserve to be called human. You're a monster and will forever be titled a triple murderer. I have many more words I wish I could say that would express my pure disgust and hatred for you. But unlike you, as we've seen today, I obey the law. That's why I'm standing here, a free person, something you will never be. I hope you have a cold, rough, unkind, harsh prison life with monsters like yourself. I want you to endure years and years of pain and abuse, which is, in my opinion, not harsh enough. If I had my choice, you would die an extremely slow, torturous death. You don't deserve to take another breath while my 16-year-old son Danny lies in the cold ground because of your disgusting, selfish, and cowardly actions. You need to spend the rest of your life in prison with monsters like yourself. You're a weak, pathetic